session without wasting any more time. I'm Harshita and I'm thrilled to welcome you to another exciting session of TechBairn Talks. For those of you who are new here, TechBairn is one of the fastest growing upskilling platforms. We are aiming to bridge the gap between classroom learning and real-world industry specialty programs in technology and business. Today, we are delighted to welcome Purushottam, a software engineer from Amazon, as a guest speaker. And he will be sharing his insights on how to start your journey in competitive programming, a highly valuable topic for students and professionals who want to understand the clear roadmap for competitive programming and improve problem solving and coding skills. Before we get started, feel free to drop your questions in the chat box at any time. We try to address them during or after the session. Without further delay, I would like to hand over the session to Purushottam. Welcome, Purushottam.
Hey, hi everyone. I am Purushottam Jha. So, I have been working with Amazon and recently I have switched to Flipkart. Today topic is how to start competitive coding. I mean, uh, I'm guessing you all. Am I, am I audible? I'm audible to all of you. Can someone check? Hi, KR07. Can you speak? Hello. I'm audible to everyone. Can someone? Okay, sure. Okay, sure. So I'm sharing my screen. Okay. So today topic is like how we can start our journey in competitive programming, right? So as I can understand that you all are in college and you want to start your competitive coding journey, but you are confused right now. So I'm taking this session that how you can basically take part in competitive codings and increase your overall ratings in different platforms. So the first thing you need to understand whenever you want to start competitive coding, then you need to understand why actually we need competitive coding, right? So it is actually a kind of mathematics and computer related fundamentals and mix match. So whenever you get some kind of questions in computer programming, so it will require your your mental ability and your mathematical ability both combined, and then you can be able to solve the question. So it's not related to data structure algorithm, it's related to more about mathematics and your mental ability things, right? So why it is important? It is important because whenever you want to go for some whenever you want to apply for some company, you will get a chance to have an online assessment, right? In the online assessment, they will ask some 2 or 3 questions which will be related to computer coding kind of questions that will not be related to data structures. So first thing you need to understand that why competitive coding is important, because if your competitive coding is good, then only you will be able to solve that 2 or 3 questions within the time limit. And data structure is required when you are going to give the interview, right? So in the interview they will ask a question that is related to data structure, and that is not from the competitive coding. The competitive coding is required only for online assessment clearing, and also if you love to do programming, then it will be very good for you because you will enjoy a lot. But the thing is, competitive coding is a little bit hard as compared to data structure, right? So moving forward, now the platforms where we can do competitive coding, right? So we can have some platforms like CodeSafe, and LeetCode is not much about the competitive coding, but the mainly two platform you can follow is CodeSafe, and another is AdCoder. So these 3 platforms you can basically use for competitive coding. So when I was in college, I forget to tell you. So I have graduated from NIT Jalandhar in 2024, right? So when I was in college in first or second year, I used to do a lot CodeForces and CodeSafe. These two I have mainly followed in my college time, CodeForces and CodeSafe. There I used to give contests regularly. So you can also start giving contests in CodeForces and CodeSafe. I will tell you like what is the prerequisite when we want to start the competitive coding. But for now, these two platforms, you can assume that Codeforces and CodeSafe are the best platform where you can start your competitive coding journey. And if you want more towards the data structure kind of things, then you can follow LeetCode and AdCoder. So AdCoder and LeetCode are basically for the person who want to solve the questions related to data structure and not related to the competitive coding kind of things. I mean, mathematics is not much required in LeetCode and AdCoder kind of things. But mathematics is required in Codeforces and CodeSafe when you want to solve the questions, right? Okay. So this I have prepared for some timeless you can have. So I mean, competitive coding takes a lot of patience, right? So you will have a lot of questions where you will get frustrated because you were not able to solve. So it will take some amount of dedication, patience, too much of work, right? So I have written some kind of timeless, like for foundation, you can have 2 to 3 months. You can spend in foundation. In the foundation, you can have any of the programming language. If you are not sure which programming language to use, then I will say start with Java. And if you are already doing in C++, that is very fine. You can use C++. And if you are doing in Python, then this is also fine. Python can also be used. But if you haven't started any of the coding language, start with Java. Why Java? Because in the industry you will have to write code in Java. Because right now I'm in in the Amazon, in the Flipkart, in all the companies, the major tech language they use are Java. So you will be familiar with Java also, right? Then after programming language, you learn the basics like how the for loop, while loop, do while loops, switch conditions. Then you know how to take the input, how to write the output, and what is the basic syntax, array, strings. Then after you move to the week 5 to 8, right? There you can learn array and strings. When I say learn array and string, that means you need to understand how does array actually work internally, right? When you store element in array, how does element is stored in array, right? How much space is taken by the array, because that will be useful when you want to optimize further in the competitive coding. So there you need to understand how does array internally store the data, how does string internally store the data, because in CPP and in Java it is completely different, and in Python it is obviously very, very different, right? So array and strings you need to understand. You need to have some basic schemas like how to take the input, how to write the output, and many more, right? And also, side by side, you need to solve some questions also. I will tell you later, like from where you can solve the question. But for now, I'm just telling the foundations, like how you can build your foundations. And this can be applied for someone who want to learn DSA only. So that is also fine. You can learn DSA by this method also, right? Then after week 9 and week 10, you can start learning STL or collections. So STL is basically related to C++. It is called a standard template library. So there you have a lot of different collections available already, which you can directly use, and you do not need to provide a lot of implementation. So because you might have heard about the terms like W linked list, right? So if you want to implement W linked list, then you have to write a lot of things like class, the pointers, the next pointer, the previous pointer, the data, and a whole lot of different CRUD operations, right? But when we want to do any kind of coding, we don't need to write this much of big things in the code, right? So we will directly import in our code. So in CPP, there is a DQ. So DQ is basically a STL which we can import in our code directly, and we can basically use all the properties which WLSS can provide, right? In the similar way, we can use Q. Q is also a STL and also a data structure in C++. In the same way, hashmap, if you want to implement hashmap in the real coding, it will take a lot of time, right? So instead of that, you will learn the STL in collections, and you can directly implement STL collections in your code directly, right? So there are different collections you can learn in Java, because Java is having so much of use collections library, and in CPP also we do have a lot of collections library. In Python you also have a lot, because in Python I haven't worked much in Python in the data structure, in terms of data structure, so I don't know about the Python, but we do have all the things in Python also, right? Then week 11 and week 12 you can learn time and space complexity, right? So this is very important. This is the fundamentals which you need to understand, right? So if you are able to analyze the complexity of any algorithms, then you will be able to solve the questions, right? So see, I can share my screen. I can tell you some example. uh, so let's say n is the input, right? So n is basically the number of loops kind of thing. So n is, let's say, the number of size of the array. So if it is, let's say, 1e5 means 10 to the power 5. So whenever I write 1e5, you can assume that it is 10 to the power 5, right? So it means we are having 10 to the power 5 elements. So what kind of solutions will be work? I mean, what kind of time complexity will work for the given n, right? So there you need to think more, right? So I can say there in 1 second. So in most of the judges, so judges means online judges, like whenever you run, whenever you compile in any of the online platform, that is called online judges. So whenever you run your code in online judges, they will check you the complexity. So the complexity is not asymptotic. They check in, I mean, in the code level. So code level, they are basically assuming that in 1 second you are doing 10 to the power 9 operations, right? So you are doing 10 to the power 9 operations, or some online judges check for 10 to the power 8 operations, right? So if you are able to do 10 to the power 8 operations in 1 second, that will be fine. That means your code will work. Otherwise, you will get a error which is called TLE, time limit exceeded. You might have a time limit exceeded. That means your code is taking so much of time that it is not able to process within 1 second, right? Let's say if n is 1e5, right? And if you run a solution which is taking the complexity n square, so there will be how much operations we are basically going to do in worst case. It will be 1e10, right? 10 to the power 5 into 10 to the power 5, 10 to the power 10. So 10 to the power 5, 10 to the power 10 is basically around 10 seconds, because 10 to the power 9 second, 10 to the power 9 operation can be done in 1 second. So 10 seconds, in 10 seconds you can do 10 to the power 10 operations. So 10 seconds is too much of time, because online judge will compute between only 1 second is the time limit. So it will throw you time limit exceeded here. So how can you optimize there, right? So I mean, to avoid this kind of situation, because if you think a lot and then you write the n-square complexity solution, and then again you get DLE, then you again have to think of different solutions. So to completely avoid this kind of situation, you need to understand, if I am giving the n, how much time, what is the best possible solutions which I can think of, right? So if n is 1e5, then the solutions which will be work will be order of n, right? And order of n log n. These solutions will work. How this will work? Order of n means 10 to the power 5 operations. Obviously 10 to the power 5 operations can be done in 1 second, because 10 to the power 9 operations can be done in 1 second. So 10 to the power 5 obviously can be done. And log n means, so 10 to the power 5, log of 10 to the power 5, how much it is. So if you are taking the base 2 also, it will be around 64, right? So 64 into n, that means it will be around 10 to the power 6 of order. So 10 to the power 6 order will also work inside 10 to the power 9, right? So it will also work. So depend upon the n, what will be the, I mean, if you see the n, you can decide what kind of solutions it will work for here, right? So I can show you some, so this is my LeetCode account which I'm opening right now. So I'm just going to the current, I mean today, POTD. So POTD is problem today. You might have heard the terms, right? So I'm just opening one questions and I will see the constraint. So constraint, you will see that n is 50, right? From 3 to 50. So here you can think that order of n will work. Yes, it will work. Order of n square will be 2500. It will be around 10 to the power 3 of range. So it will work. Then can n to the power 3, that means n cube will work. So it will, you will think, okay, 50 cube is around 125,000. Again it will work. So you can think that n cube is also going to work. N cube of 4, you will check n to the power 4 is not exceeding 10 to the power 8. So if it is not exceeding, that means that will work, right? But the solutions you will see, you can go there in problems. Okay, so I'm taking the first question on the twosome. In twosome question, you can see the length is 10 to the power 4, right? So 10 power 4, that means you cannot have n square solution. If you do n square solution, they might throw TLE because n square is taking 10 power 8, and 10 power 8 might not work in once again in case of lead code, because they might have a strong constraint that 10 power 7 or 10 around 10 power 8 operations can be worked. But if they have explicitly told that 10 power 8 operations cannot be done in once again, then you cannot have n square solution here. So the optimized solution you need to think of, right? How will you think optimized solution? There you need to learn different data sectors, right? So I'm coming again to the slides. Do we have any questions right now? Can you thumbs up or anything? Yeah. Hello. Okay, so Venkatesh is asking why 1E9 max operation for 1 second. So actually, it is predetermined by the online database, right? So I'm not saying 1E9 is the max operation. We can have 1E8 with 1E7. So whenever you are developing any kind of online database, let's say if you want to develop your own code editor, right? We have courses, we have code forces, we have lead code, we have ad coder, we have stabber also, .tuf kind of things. So in GFG also, right? Okay, so in GFG also, so there internally they have said that in 1 second we can allow 10 power 8 operation depending upon how much resource they have. So what happens inside that, they already have some CPU, some cores, some memory. They already have some remote servers where all the computation is going currently. And if they don't have much larger computation power kind of servers, so they will not be able to they will not be able to operate in 10 power 2, right? Or 10 power 10 operations in 1 second. So they assume that if you are able to do 10 power 6 or 10 power 7 operation in 1 second, then I will accept, otherwise I will throw TLD. So this is internally which we can decide at the time when we want to develop our own coding platforms. So depending upon the platforms or depending upon the courses, you can alter, right? So this is purely internal. But by the rule, whenever we are going to do any competitive coding, we have to remember that 1E9 or 1E8 operations can be done in 1 second at max, right? Okay. So which language to start? So obviously I have told you, if you have to start with Java, then go with Java. If you happen to start with any language, go with C++, right? And if you are already started with Python, go with Python, right? Okay, so now coming again. So I have discussed the phase 1. Time and space is very important, right? So you have to learn a lot in time and space concept. Now coming after week 12. Now this is the core concepts you need to learn, right? Here we have to learn the basic mathematics. Basic mathematics mean how GCD is greatest common divisor, or you can say HCF, highest common factor. So how does HCF and GCD can be calculated in coding? How does primes work, right? So there are different algorithms like C for Purushottam. So how these algorithms is basically working internally. You need to learn a lot about the primes. So the primes which we used to learn in class 10 or class 9 maybe is very different from what we learn here. The concept is same, but the way we are basically dealing primes in computer is different than what we have done in normal day-to-day life, right? Then we need to learn the modular operations, right? You have heard about modular operations. It is kind of a remainder, right? Then week 17 to 19, you need to learn the 2-pointer and sliding window. So 2-pointer is the kind of algorithm where we have 2 pointers. One we generally set at the starting, another we can set at the end, or we can have different approaches. One we set at the starting, one we set at the middle, and we can also have 2 pointers starting from the middle also. One will go forward, one will go back, or kind of thing. So different depending upon the situation, we use different pointers. So not 2 pointers, you need to learn how 3 pointers also work. We can have 3 pointers also in the same algorithm. And the sliding window. The sliding window is actually a window, right? So the name is a window. So we do have a window where we basically do all the things, and we check if this window is satisfying the things or not. If it is satisfying, that means it is a correct window. If it is not satisfying, then we will decrease the window or we will save the window. So there is 2 different concepts. There is a fixed sliding window where the window size is fixed. there is a different, the size of the window is not fixed. So in that case, we need to satisfy the condition in each of the window, and according to that, we will, increase or decrease the size of the window. So there, you will learn a lot when you will learn sliding window, obviously. Then comes the term recursion and backtracking. This is the heart of programming, right? If you don't know anything, that is fine. But recursion and backtracking, you need to learn a lot, right? Because in Amazon interview, there was two questions which they generally ask from the recursion backtracking. Because when you are going to learn linked list, tree, dynamic programming, if anything, you need to, your recursion should be very strong. Otherwise, you won't be able to solve the questions, right? And in the same way, backtracking also. So recursion and backtracking, very important. You must have to give 1 month for these two topics. Then coming binary search and their variations. So binary search is not very difficult, but when comes to the variations, then it is going to be harder. Why harder? Because binary search is very easy to apply, but figuring out that this question is related to binary search is very difficult, right? So how you basically on the question that this question is related to binary search, when you solve a lot of questions, you will see the space whether the thing is monotonic or not. Monotonic means either increasing or decreasing, like some conditions are true, then false. This is kind of monotonic, or you can say a kind of binary search problems. So this you need to figure out a lot. So we generally say that binary search and answer. Now coming to the phase 3, this is intermediate topic. There you need to learn dynamic programming. So before learning the dynamic programming, you must revisit recursion and backtracking. If you have missed, or if you are not sure that your recursion is very good, then you can revise recursion again. Then you learn dynamic programming. Then you learn greedy algorithms. For greedy algorithms, you don't require anything. You don't require the basics of any code concept. You can directly run greedy algorithms also. Then bit manipulation. So bit manipulation is something very different from all the concepts. So it is generally related to the numbers. So whenever you represent any number in the form of binary, then the bit manipulation comes in the picture. So we do have some OR operations, NOR operation. There are different operations we generally do in coding. So you need to learn the basics, like how these operations are working. And when you will get the question, then you will get a lot of clarity, like how we can implement these operations in the coding. So this is advanced topic. You can skip bit manipulation for now. When you are very sure that you have covered everything, then go with bit manipulation, right? Then I have already told you, programming language, you can choose anyone, right? It doesn't really matter. But Java is something which I prefer, because when you go in industry, you have to write code in Java. Data structure, I have told you, you can learn arrays, strings, right? And then SQL collections and basic mathematics, right? These things I have already covered, that 2-pointer, sliding window things. Okay. Now coming here, this is something which you have to remember a lot. So whenever you are solving question, you have to keep patience and consistency. So to show how the consistency matter, I can show you my profile, because I have done a lot of coding in the past. So see, let me see. So I have started coding in 2021, right? So in 2020, I have joined the college. Then 21, after 1 year, I have started the coding. So from there, I have done, each and every day, you can say, in 2022, right? So I have been regular each and every day. I was solving too many questions while doing the college also. Then 2023, again, I was too much of consistent each and every day. And then 2024, where I have graduated, and after graduation, I didn't get much time because job was there, so I was not very much consistent after that. And in 2025, I was really not consistent. I was only giving the contest, and that's it. So you can see how much you have to give when you want to improve in your coding, right? You have to give a lot of times. So so the first thing is keep patience and consistency. You have to keep a lot of patience. So I remember some of the questions when I was learning graph. It takes me 3 or 4 days just to solve one questions, because I was not giving easily. I was like, I will solve. I implement something. Then I got that this case is wrong. then I again think in different way, then I again solve. So in this repetitive iteration, I found that patience is too much required when you want to do any, DSA or competitive coding. It is same, right? And consistency, you need to develop a lot of consistency if you want to do great in competitive coding. Then obviously upsolve. Upsolve means if you want to give lead code contest also, then you can, let's say if you have solved first two questions or first three questions in lead code, then you just need to give 1 hour time in another question. So if you have solved three questions, then you can give next 1 hour to fourth question. If you have solved first two questions, you can give next 1 hour to the third question, right? Then after, if you are not able to solve, that is fine. You can just go to a tutorial, read the algorithms, not the solution. Read the algorithms, what they are doing. Then you can think how this is working, right? Then after you understand that how it is working, then you again come in the code editor and write the code by yourself. Don't take help from anyone, right? Don't see the code, right? And one thing I will tell you, like don't use the AI for any coding. So if you are using AI for coding, you are going to harm yourself. You will not be able to crack interview, because when interview will come, you will have to think from them, right? So yeah, some questions. Okay, no questions. So I was there. You don't need to take the help of AI, because in interview, your 100% mind will be decreased to 70%. So you are operating at 70%. Now you have to deliver. So think, if you have used AI, then that means you are not able to crack the good companies, because the questions is already a standard. So you need to work a lot harder to crack those questions, right? Because you are operating at 70% of your mind in your interview because of the pressure. So yes, don't use the AI. So whenever you are getting some errors, take the help from people why these errors are there. And if you don't have much time, then you can use AI, that why these errors have come, and then you can solve the questions. But for me, if you want to make yourself as a good good problem solver, then don't use AI, right? That's it. And then after, just join the participate in develop contest. So for that also, I can show you how much contest you can give. So I have given 115. So you can, in the course app also, okay. In the course app also, you can see I have given a lot. I don't remember the exact number, but I have given a lot. You can see that these dots are basically the number of contests, right? So yeah, it is 62, right? So I have given a lot of contests in my college days. So you can also give a lot of contests, mainly one for lead code and one for any course or code courses, whatever suits you, right? Then after, get out of your comfort zone. If you are in college, you might have 3 to 4 hours per day to study, because I know the college schedules are busy. So give 3 to 4 hours